And okay, so we are going to switch gears, and we have Jules up here next. Jules is amazing. I also met Jules in Bali in 2018. She's Inc. magazine's #1 top 27 female entrepreneurs changing the world. And she is the top 40 millennial to follow. She's also a musician. And she plays music, she records music, and she is such a visionary on a mission to inspire people to create a life by their own design. And she created this amazing thing called Unconventional Life, which a lot of my friends went to in Bali, and that's how I got connected with her. So with that, Jules, thank you so much for being here, and welcome to Emergence.
Thank you, Chelsea. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good all the things. What a powerful invitation and just space to be on. And I only caught the last 10 minutes of that dance explosion, but wow, things were moving. And so I know, Chelsea, this space, this conversation, unleashing your potential. Here we are at almost the end of this day. And just show of hands, who's been here for like most of the day, just to get an idea of that. All right, going strong. Last little bit here. And who just, bits and pieces, show of hands if you've been tuning in and out. Awesome. So I imagine if you've been here this whole day, there's something really at stake for you in this conversation, especially in what unleashing your potential looks like, and particularly the title of this experience, breaking through those upper limits. So go ahead and just throw in the chat, what is it? What is the game that you're playing in that is keeping you on Zoom all day on this Sunday or Monday, depending wherever you are in the world? What is it that's at stake for you in terms of what unleashing your potential looks like? And then even relating it into this moment, what is that upper limit that if you broke through that, if this conversation, this hour gave you that piece, that ingredient, that piece of the puzzle, it would have you go back and be like, yup, that plane landed today. Yup. So just go ahead and see some of these in the chat. Evolving humanity to the next paradigm. I love that, Lowen. Sharing my story, trying to get out of my own way so I could be an entrepreneurial success, living in a new normal financially. Amen to that. We are in a big wealth transfer happening right now, especially if you follow cryptocurrency, which go bull market, go. Oh, love all that. Yeah, see my crypto love here. Amazing. So what I want to do, especially coming from that movement experience, the new earth, is taking us even a step further to what is that new limit? What does this expression actually look and what does it feel like? And a lot of times we have this idea, this sense of like, if I can get to this next phase or this next chapter, then I'll know I'll have arrived. Yet it's always this moving target. So by the time that we get there, we don't have the ability to anchor in the feeling of what it was like on the way there. So my aim in this conversation is to create an experiential data point in your system such that when you arrive it and when you achieve it, your system actually gets to go, yep, and I can keep going, yep, and I can keep going. And oftentimes I think about it like being almost like energetically constipated, where we're like, come on, God, come on, universe, like give me more. Yet until we anchor and we keep the pump moving, we can have all the opportunity in our field for land, but there's nowhere for it to go. And so just check that out in your own life right now. There might be opportunity. My sense is that every piece of your puzzle is actually alive, well, and here in this field, which is what brought you to this conversation today. And a lot of this is removing that which does not serve so that which does actually has that space. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just drop in for a second. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to come into a bit of an experience here and take us in that way. And go ahead and just put your feet on the ground. And I know you've been moving your bodies, so extend your arm out to a T. Go ahead, just roll out your neck, flex your feet, feel your feet anchor to the ground. Go ahead and bring your awareness, your attention in the low part of your belly. And just take a big breath in. And a big shake, let the tongue go on the exhale. And one more big breath in. This time, bring your spine length through the crown of your head. Breath in. Exhale, give it a sound. A little bit of a shake. And I want you to feel yourself in this moment, feel your feet on the ground, feel yourself anchor here on this earth, and put yourself back into this morning. See yourself literally wake up in your bed, your couch, wherever you woke up. Watch yourself as if you were a witness in this space. And seeing yourself in that moment, notice what did you feel like when you woke up, and even feel the texture of your sheets. Notice if there was someone next to you, just remembering back just 12 or so hours ago. What were the first thoughts on your mind? Did you wake up in anticipation of today? Was there the sense that you've been anticipating it for a few days of like, all right, today's the day. I get my me time. I'm going all in on this. Or was this curiosity of, I don't know what's in store. I'm going to be open. Or was it more of a sluggish morning of like, yeah, I know I said I'd do this thing, but like, do I really feel like I have the energy for it? And just start to replay that dialogue, that always going dialogue. In my own experience, a lot of what gives the ability to break free and break through is our ability to see and interrupt. It is the art of the pattern interrupt. And so the first awareness of that, which I know many of you know, is the awareness of those thoughts and just taking your inventory of what it was like for you waking up this morning, scanning through whenever you joined us today, if it was from the beginning or at whatever part, and just notice the different states that you've had throughout this experience. Notice if there's been tears, if there's been something stirring, if there's been movement, if there's been ideas, allowing just the rhythm to move through your body right now. And then on the count of 3, I just want you to put your body into a movement position and hold. And this movement position will literally just express everything there is for you to assimilate in your body. We're going to literally create a physical anchor on the count of 3. So everything that's been moving through your body today, you're going to count of 3, any crazy position, all of our eyes are closed, and we're just going to hold that. So in 3, 2, 1, dance, move, anchor, and freeze. Freeze. Hold the shape. Feel it in your body. Take a big breath in and give it a sound. And let that move and release. We're going to reset. On the count of 3, you're going to find another shape in your body. You're going to give it a sound. 2, 1, strike a pose and hold. Contract, tighten, squeeze everything that you can. If you're holding your fists, if you're clenching your teeth, if you're clenching your feet, whatever shape that you're in, go ahead and squeeze. Hold here and squeeze. Give it a little bit more. Tighten, squeeze, release in 3. Big sound in 2 and 1. And release. And this time through, go ahead and just get a little bit of movement, move the shoulders, move the body. Oftentimes our bodies have so much well of wisdom. We look into our mind for the access point. It is in our physical imprint that actually gives us the space for our mind to connect with what is. So on this last shape on the count of 3, I literally want you to see yourself pop into a pose. In 2, 1, pop, pose, hold, 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 hold. Allowing just this shape, even this snap and this beat. Notice your mind, notice your thoughts, like what the hell is this woman doing? What are we doing here? Just let it be. Hold the shape, and release. And see yourself sitting here. The art of presence, the art of what is. And I want you to see in just a second this bubble appear in front of you. And this bubble will be no ordinary bubble. This bubble will take us from where we were to where we are, to time traveling ourselves into the future. I want you to see this bubble, this time traveling bubble, just in your mind eye. Watch it just appear. Notice if it's made of glass. Notice if it's a bubble. Notice if it's padded. And I want you to go ahead and walk towards the bubble. I want you to see a door to this bubble. Notice if this bubble has a color. Go ahead and open the door to the bubble. Walk into the bubble. Close the door to the bubble behind you. And literally watch this bubble take flight. See yourself sitting in the room, bird's eye, flying up high. Notice if there's trees. Notice if it's night. Notice if it's day. Wherever you are sitting, watch yourself bubble up into the sky. And I want you to watch yourself literally travel to January 2nd, just 2 months into the future of the new year. Watch this bubble travel through the rest of November, through the holiday season, into December, into the start of the new year. Watch it go to New Year's Eve and see yourself literally parachute down into this bed. Where do you wake up? Open your eyes here in this room, still in this vision. I want you to feel yourself in this bed. January 2nd, 2022. This particular morning, you're completely alone in this bed, and I want you to feel the texture of the sheets and just notice, where are you? Where did you wake up? Notice if the space you're in is familiar or if it's somewhere completely new, and I want you to feel this window, sun coming into your face, barely able to open your eyes. I want you to peer out this window. I want you to look out this window, and what do you see? Notice if this is the room that you're always in, or if there's ocean, sound, texture. I want you to roll over to your left. I want you to find your phone. I want you to hold your phone. I want you to feel your phone, even if you don't usually go to your phone in the morning, and watch your phone flooded with notifications. Literally the physical anchor of all of that you've been creating. Notice if this is opportunities of payment notifications that have been coming in overnight from new clients that you've onboarded, or random bonuses that have come in your favor. Notice if it's calendar notifications of podcasts you're about to go speak on, or invitations to connect, or maybe you're about to go take this awesome trip that you've been planning, or actually it was a last minute thing. Maybe there's even messages of gratitude or messages from a loved one or a partner. Just see it and feel it in your hand right now. The actual 3D anchor of that which you've been creating in this thing. And then go ahead and throw the phone on the bed. Feel your feet jump out onto this floor, and go ahead and just walk the space. Walking yourself towards this kitchen. I want you to go ahead and make yourself your favorite morning beverage. Notice what it's like to be in this space, the space that you created from this moment, anchored into that moment. And just taking a big breath in, look around and see what you see. Drinking your morning beverage, whether it's a tea, cacao, or something else, even going ahead and just sniffing that beverage. And taking a look around, noticing how you feel. What are your thoughts? Notice if there aren't any thoughts. And in the distance, I want you to see your computer, whether you work online or you don't work online. It's just a black screen, portal of creation. And in just a second, I want you to go ahead and walk over towards that computer. Sit at the computer, watch your fingertips type on the keys. And I want you to see yourself logging in to your bank account, whether it's your business bank account or whether it's your personal bank account. And I want you to watch yourself, literally see yourself, type on the browser, watch it appear, see yourself scroll through the bank account, and find yourself surprised. Literally feel yourself in this moment surprised, like joy. Like, what? I wasn't expecting that. What's that number you see? Watch a number just appear. Just a number. Watch it come across the screen. Watch it appear. And feel the surprise. Feel the pleasure. Feel pleasure expand through your body in this moment, literally letting pleasure erupt through your solar plexus. Watch pleasure erupt down your ankles. Watch pleasure erupt through the crown of your head. Literally feel it expand through your heart, through your arms, through your forearms, through your fingertips. Literally feeling pleasure expanding beyond just from money, beyond what it is, but beyond that you are here. Feel pleasure actually magnify. Feel yourself as the source of pleasure. Feel all the movement you just opened up in your body in the last hour, expanding more capacity for pleasure. Feel you are pleasure. It is in pleasure that it connects ourselves to our passion, to our purpose, and ultimately unlocks the power and truth of your potential. Allow pleasure to erupt even more. Feel your feet in this moment. Actually feel your feet anchor onto the ground. Feel yourself stand up taller. Feel yourself squeeze your shoulder blades back together. Feel yourself here. Feel the power of here. Feel you here. Taking a big breath in and out. Stepping away from that computer screen. Going ahead and looking to the right. I want you to see a tall mirror. Go ahead and walk in front of the mirror and look at yourself. See this floor to ceiling length mirror and watch your reflection. The you that's in this house, the you that put their fingertips onto that keyboard in the screen, the you that's standing there. And see if you can even shimmy your way up a little bit more. Notice if your shoulders are hunched in that mirror. See if you can strengthen those shoulders. Find your power stance. Your hips might even be feet width apart. Imagine as if your elbows are squeezed in, and maybe even in this moment, you anchor that shape into your body right now, feeling your elbows squeeze in, feeling your palms lift, your shoulder blades proud. See yourself in that mirror. See you in that mirror. And since we are all muted, for the next minute, I want you to say out loud, I just want you to narrate to yourself all that is here. Narrate your power. Narrate your I am. And it's going to go like this. And so I'm going to give us about 90 seconds and you're just going to go I am statements. And the only rule is that you can't stop. Seeing yourself in the mirror, you're going to go, I am one of the most powerful people that I have ever met. I love all of my beauty and I love all of my grace. I am filled with rage and I'm filled with reason. I am God because I said so. I am gold because I said so. I am beautiful with my hair and beautiful when I wear makeup and beautiful when I don't. And so I just want you to, like that, for the next 90 seconds or so, just go ahead and narrate out loud, talking to yourself, and it has to be out loud. You're all on mute. I am. See yourself in that mirror. The next 90 seconds, I am. And narrate, speaking your vision in. I am the creator of a multi-million-dollar company. I am the creator of Grammy award-winning albums. I am the creator of a family who is so proud that I'm in it. I am the creator of. Out loud, powerfully, speak it out loud. 90 seconds. Allowing it. Watch what happens to yourself as you keep going with I am. I am. Notice if you've been staying at one pace of tone. See if you can even allow that tone. Maybe you've been soft in the speech. I am. And then allowing that I am to break into joy, watching yourself dance and move in front of this mirror. And that could even be moving in this body in this moment, just watching what happens, watching the impact of you, the ripple of impact of you and your presence on you. And slowly allowing those statements, anything left that there is to say, coming back as you give yourself just another look, another gaze. And I want you to see yourself in the mirror. I want you to actually see fire behind you in the mirror. And in just a second, you're going to break through that mirror being the limit of who you said you've gotten to be up until now, the limit of who you said you were when you woke up this morning, that mirror. You're in just a second. We're going to break through that fire. We're going to break through that mirror. You're going to shatter that mirror. See that fire, see your fire reflected through that mirror. Feel your feet, feel your power, feel yourself get ready as if you're about to charge like you've never charged before. That everything that led you into this moment all day was ready for this moment to break through. Feel yourself get ready on 3. On the count of 2, you're going to run into the mirror. And 1, feel yourself run into the mirror. Feel that mirror shatter in this moment. Feel yourself pop all the way through that mirror. Feeling the breaking of the mirror, the breaking of you. Feel yourself just running, 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 and opening your eyes into this moment. Coming back. Fully awake. Into this moment. Fully awake. Fully here. And if you can, put everyone into gallery view. And I want you just to stare. And I want you to look. I want you to look at the faces that are here. And I want you to look at what fully awake in here is. And if you don't have your camera on and you're able to, don't miss this opportunity to actually look. Oftentimes we engage in our own ways and see what it's like to scroll through the different pages and see if there's just an acknowledgement of like, oh, you too? Or like, huh, wait, you want to play this way as well? And taking just a moment, I want you just to go ahead and whether it's type or write, I just want you to free flow. Anything that you saw and anything that even came up from before I got on, a lot was moving in the space. And you could even throw in the chat if there's a few things here, giving just a moment to translate and assimilate anything that there is to write, and you can even go ahead and write it in the chat. And just on a temperature pulse check, yeah, felt myself living in that new normal place. Who's feeling a little bit raw right now, just emotionally? Like, yeah, feeling that. We're coming to the upper limits. It's good. Feeling is an access point. Yeah, I am the new seed of the earth. Yeah, saddened by my resistance to my own power and creating the life I really want and the feeling of not deserving it. So I had a moment probably about a year ago, and I got so profoundly complete with life. I didn't know if I would actually live to have another conversation like this or to be in another talk like this. I, at that point, had, it was 4 years after a near-death experience I had. It was a wakeboarding accident where I like literally hit the water, face planted, came out of the MRI in the hospital. This was in 2015. Was approached by this white figure, Six Black Shadow Council member conversation of, Jules, you have more work to do in the world. Do you want to do it? And I remember saying yes, as long as I don't come back as a vegetable. And in that next moment, I was zapped back into my body, felt this energy forge my neck back together and shoot down my spine. I thought my neck was broken. I thought I was paralyzed. And I just remember that moment that I woke up after touching this like godlike space and then like coming back into this body. And it was like life being driven by me, being complete, and life coming through, starting. And I didn't know what I didn't know at the time. It was like I was living in a 10-volt battery. And then I literally got catapulted into this like 100,000-volt battery. Talk about what do you Google for that, especially in 2015. Let me tell you, chrysalis was not happening back then, nor was anything like that. And it was the start of a path. 3 weeks later, I got a call from a woman who was working at the UN. She asked if I wanted to be a global ambassador for education. I was like, I'm in a neck brace, not really the best time. Weeks after that, Forbes is like, come to be Forbes 30 under 30. I'm like, okay. They're like, you want to start writing for us? I'm like, I can't even spell. I was like, how about the podcast? I want to tell stories of people doing life in different ways. Next thing I knew, I was hosting the first official podcast on Forbes. Flash forward, I'm in Iceland, hitting go on my first ever Forbes.com article outside the hot springs on a portable Wi-Fi device. Thank God I dated a copywriter at the time. And like it hit send and it was like, what? And then I had this dream 8 months after that. And I saw a vision of entrepreneurs gathering. It was my first vision to do a live event in Bali. And I woke up and I was like, I know nothing about events. What do you mean it's me who's going to do events? And 7 weeks later, after it nagged me, I was in Bali on day 5, hosting my first ever sold out event. And I share all that because life had a plan. I don't think you have to have a wakeboarding accident to have a plan, but life has a plan. If you're in this conversation, I'm here to tell you life has a plan for you. Like really. And we have these moments all the time which we're being spoken to, and it is deep resistance, but it is deep fear, but it's also deep intensity and deep knowing. And I have a sense that if you're in this conversation, there's a little dial that's been nudging you, whether it's you going to work in the morning or whether it's the in-between or taking a shower, and that dial keeps getting louder. That's true. Can I show of hands or just go ahead and type yes in the chat? And then there's this like, well, what do I do about that? There's this internal knowing, but then there's what my external reality looks like. And there's not a full congruency. There's like, I feel the actualization, the already happenedness of that which this is, but like, I have no freaking hell of an idea how I'm going to get from here to there to make that congruency step forward. And the last 5 or so years, my life has been a series of saying yes to that, a series of making that happen by feeling the already happenedness of that. And I remember I literally had to start integrating those feelings like in my body. And then there was this last year, having all the success, entrepreneur, Forbes, all these things, like top entrepreneur, events all over the world. And then hitting this point where I had a huge mental health break. And turns out I had an autoimmune disease that I didn't know about. And I literally got to a point last year, which was where I started, where I felt so profoundly complete that I was like, if this is it, then this is it. And thinking about like death. Anyone have any, like, whether it was like death or like part of the chrysalis, we have to like go in. Literally, we go through a death portal. Anyone like been there? Yeah. I mean, full on. I spent probably about 6 months of like, will I wake up tomorrow? Will I not? And talk about having community and businesses and life and all the things on there. And anyone know the story of Inanna? She talks about being the goddess of heaven and earth. And the story goes in Greek mythology, there's Inanna as goddess of heaven and earth. And what basically happens is her sister, who's the goddess of the underworld, calls her into being, and she takes her down. And literally she gets down below, she kills her, puts her on a meat hook for display. And Inanna, who has all these superpowers of both the light and the dark, can't go up and she can't go down. All she can do is literally stay there and rot there and be there on display until she realizes that her gift is just being suspended in time, allowing that such that she finally can pop back through. And that is what I think is happening in our world right now. COVID is our collective hook. We have literally come down. We are being suspended in time, on display. Everyone's like, I know how to get us off the meat hook. Do this, do that, take the shot, don't take the shot, with whatever side, you want to be on. And it is the rebirth of consciousness. And I think we've accelerated at such a rapid rate that those of us who've been on the front lines for a very long time, it is like, we cannot go in the path we are going. It literally was like, and now we die. Here we go. Now we die. And for those of us that are hypersensitive, who have immense gifts, who have immense purpose, it is like a what the fuck going on. And that can happen physically, energetically, spiritually. And that death has to happen. I had to literally go through my death of this last year to some point where it was turning into pre-existing things of MS, where like most mornings I couldn't even get into like the kitchen. I'm like 32, super healthy, do all this stuff. And I'm like having neurological eye twitches. And I'm like, if this is my life in this degree of pain, then I'm out. God, have I hit my expiration? Like, you have more work to do. Is my time up? And I see some not resonance there. Anyone else had those moments? Have I done it yet? Are we good? We complete? Yeah, I think I've been doing pretty good over here. Yeah, I think I've saved some people. All right, move the consciousness conversation forward. And here we are. And so I share all of that. Yeah, I see it as expedited growth because we are in an opportunity. And that opportunity starts with our own rehabilitation, but starts with our own acknowledgement. And not only our own acknowledgement, it is literally our own commitment to that which we're moving forward. Your upper limit in what my experience is your mind. And it's your soul's way of saying that feeling, pay attention. And our upper limit is when we ignore that feeling that keeps getting louder. And we basically put all these constraints and all the things in life that blocks us from being able to have the thing that it's trying to say. If you're in this conversation, you got a lifeline. Once again, you don't have to go to the near-death experience to have that lifeline. And so I have the sense that that lifeline has something and has been something to say to you. And it also has to happen in the we space, which is what keeps us here. And so I'd be curious, like, just go ahead and put in the chat, what has that lifeline been saying? What's that thing that you're not wanting to confront? For me, it was going into my music. It was like, enough of this talking, enough of this. You want to heal and transform the world, you're going to do it through your art. You're going to actually step away from what is to go full into that, such that you can go out and include that back in. The shyest, most like awkward part of myself that I then was like, all right, if this I'm going to go all in on, this is what I'm going to go in on. Yeah, going into the music, creating an off the grid community. Yeah, and the question is like, what has that voice that you've been hearing, that thing that's been nudging, or that piece that you've been ignoring, whether it's that idea, or whether it's the thought, whether it's the, I should probably leave my relationship, or God, something needs to change with my living situation, or like, wow, I need to let go of my job. Or it could even be something small. Lean in and let go. Yeah, it can be really hard. Build a family, welcome a daughter. And so a lot of those micro moments, I believe, really allow us to have some of those bigger conversations. So I'd love to take one of you off mute who feels called to share. And actually, like, if you look at what it is that has you here, what does stop you? And maybe actually, Chelsea, if you're open to it, maybe we'll come into you here, because you brought us into this conversation. And that's a big game to hold. It's a big conversation to hold. Can we just give some love for Chelsea? She was like, I'm like drawing a line in the sand that this is the conversation we're having. And it was that important that you drew that line. And so, like, yeah, I'd love for you just to share a little bit about like why. And here we are at almost like the grand finale. We're moving into the closing ceremony next. And so, like, yeah, I'd love for you to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, it keeps coming up, and it's like something I feel like I've been running away from for years. I got the vision in 2018, and then I like met these people who were potential co-founders and just like didn't work out at all. And I dropped the vision then. And then I kept dating people that were like building all these communities. And I'm like, why do I keep attracting this? My one ex was like doing a co-living tour of like 100 countries and writing a book. And then the next one bought like 400 hectares of land and was like creating this thing. And I'm like, I keep attracting it. Like, why does this keep coming to me? And I just like, I don't know what it is. Like, it's like, I don't believe that I should be doing it, or like, that's just not my priority right now. But it's like the thing that just like keeps like looking at me, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Anyone else have that? I don't know if it's me. I don't know if I should be doing it. I've got this call, but really, me? You want me to steward that? Yeah, just like show of hands and keep them high. And then if you are like on camera, if you can see the camera, because like, just so we all know, like that thread that runs in that, it's in all of us. And so what had you? Why do it? Why indulge it? Yeah. Why choose you?
That's rhetorical.
Yeah, no, but generally, like, yeah, I'm sure we've heard from a lot of other people, and I just have a desire to bring your voice in, because I know that we probably haven't heard from you as much in all this.
Yeah. So you're asking me why?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know. I just think there's like this like deep, I don't know if it's like a childhood thing of like my childhood, my like inner child really wants to live in a treehouse, or it's like, wow, the world really needs this right now. Like, you know, Instagram went down one day and it just like really hit me that like, yeah, like we could disconnect from a lot of people all at one time. Like WhatsApp went down and I kind of had this like moment of, wow, all my community is in one place. And that was a little scary. It's like, how would we actually come together in that situation? And like, yeah, I had just like these weird thoughts, and I don't know why me, but I just feel, I don't know.
Yeah. On the why me, I'd love for us all just to take a second, and even in the why me, if you've got something to write with or type with, I just want you to literally write why me on it. Just write or type why me. And I want you to take the next like 10 statements of like, why me? And I want you to even like, not even think about it, just like words that come. Why me? Why me? I like wearing the color pink. Why me? I enjoy eating sweet potatoes. Why me? Freaking fierce. Why me? I'm resilient. And I like people who are resilient, because even if I'm down, I will eventually go back up. And the thing is that when we are coming into our upper limit, we often hit these zones of turbulences. We master a domain. And one thing I had to realize about this health stuff that I was in, this last thing, is the scariest part of all of it wasn't being in it. It was the fact that none of my tools worked anymore. It was the fact that everything that I knew that got me to that level, I couldn't use to go forward. It was the fact that all of my meditations and my teachings and all of my stuff, and then I get to this point and I'm like, I teach this shit. I'm out there doing this stuff. I live my life by this. And none of the things that I know I can use to get forward, And that requires being a student in a beginner's mind all over again. And that's the inflection, and that's the choice point that you're in right now. And I have also the sense and the hunch that for many of you, you're also in a very similar position where you're plateaued. And all the things that you've known and all the things that you've gotten really good at flexing. And here's the thing is when we become better at things, we're like, I'm not a beginner anymore. I don't need to start there again. I already know this stuff. I should already be here. I should already be there. Yet we get out of touch with the present. We get out of touch with the presence. And so in breaking through these upper limits, I think about it like rings of a solar system. We go through these zones of turbulence, almost as if we're moving into the next dimension, the next space. We're in a zone of turbulence. And right before you're about to break the top, you literally come back down and you reverberate and you start to come back up to the top again and you like reverberate and you come back down. If anyone watches crypto, I've been watching a lot of crypto lately, you watch the chart, it's about to break through a new price point. It like comes back down. You're like, what? Come on, Bitcoin. Or whatever that might be, but it's like you hit these zones of turbulence. And so it requires in this moment, can you be willing to acknowledge that the tools that you need to go beyond are not the tools that you have? Can you acknowledge that the tools that you need to go beyond are not the tools that you have? That is what I had to acknowledge. I actually have to meditate every morning now. I know people are really big meditators. For me, for a lot of my life, I could do that through movement. I could do that through yoga. I could do that through singing. I could do that through other ways. I actually not even have to, I get to. But when I meditate in the morning now, that is a new tool in a very sitting, silent, still way that works for me. Food-wise, I now fast. I didn't need to fast before. Fasting actually helps me feeling a lot better in my body. I've been gluten and dairy free for a long time. I actually started eating sourdough, and that helped recalibrate my body. New tools that we're tweaking for our systems to allow us to move beyond. And so if you take a radical look at what if you were to acknowledge in this moment that you're a complete beginner and you're just getting started? What if all of your accolades, all of your success, everything that you've done in your life has prepared you to be completely here and completely free? Completely in the unknown. And here's the beautiful thing about anchoring what you've already anchored is that you're literally starting with the cellular imprint. And then your mind gets to learn and rewire newly again. So why me? Why me? And that can be a lot of it is just because you said so. Or said another way, because you can't not be you. Because as much as you tried to let this go, there's no way that you can get out of what you're doing because of that nagging thing has gone so loud at this point that it has to be what kicks you forward. Yeah, truly living the hero's journey, exactly like flying. And so if there was a tool for you to get out of this conversation, it's recognizing the zones of turbulence that you're in. And every single time that you come to break through the next upper limit, you're literally going to face the exact thing that kept you there that's going to pop you through. It's like the moment that you go to invest in a coach or the moment that you go to invest in a big trip, all the crap that you wanted to get out of it comes up to your story. You're like, oh, I want to be able to make more money. And then you go to invest in a coach. And then all of a sudden, you have a huge financial breakdown and you're like, oh my God, I can't pay for the coach anymore. And then it's like, hey, actually, there's the very thing that you said you wanted. And now it's at stake. Oh my God, I'm manifesting my dream partner. And then you go ahead and your dream partner shows up. You're like, oh my God, I'm not ready for a relationship. No way. It's exactly the thing that you order that when it arrives, you're then like, oh, nope, blocked receiving. Oh, nope, not me, not me. And consider there's a run of that doing that right now in your life right now. Literally, there is everything you've asked for is coming in, and the framework and the way that your system's operating, it actually can't allow, it can't receive what you're holding. Yeah, Tristan, I have a set of experiences that others need to hear, and I need to hear from others in order to deepen my connection with myself and others. Yeah. And the last thing I'll say on this part is that you're the only one with your vision. And so said another way, I don't have your vision. You don't have my vision. And you have your vision because your vision is yours to have. You have your vision because it is in your divine right to have your vision. It is your vision. It's not that your vision came to someone else and someone else gets to have your vision and you don't get to have your vision. It's in your divine right to have because you were implanted with it. And that takes a bit of acknowledging, and not only acknowledging, it takes a bit of receiving your vision. Can you receive your vision? So I'm just going to take a moment, and I just got my eyes on some of you. Eddie, Mickey, Miguel, Tristan, Renee. Couldn't see all of you. Gigi, Aria, Elizabeth, Jessica, Lowen. So if you have the listening of now 30 people on this as we start to move into our closing ceremony here in just a few moments, who do you get to say that you are? And what are you breaking through? Like, what is the upper limit that you're breaking through? And just go ahead and put that in the chat. I am breaking through. I am breaking through. And inside of that, one of the things that I do is a lot of free flow, spoken word and improv. And I will close this out here with a little bit of spoken word, a little bit of an activation to activate all these activations. Just go ahead and throw in the chat, what is it that you are breaking through? What did you run through in that mirror? Yeah, yourself. Playing small and self-doubt. What are you breaking through? Go ahead and put it in the chat. What did you run through that mirror? What are you breaking through? Overwhelm. Yeah, the fear of living my life and my dreams. Absolutely. And going ahead and just taking a moment here. What are you breaking through? Procrastination and not enoughness regarding growth and results. Absolutely. Go ahead and just close your eyes for 1 second. The fear of changing my mind, self-doubt, low self-worth, fears, procrastination, breaking through the fear of my power. Declare this. Actually, before you close your eyes, if you haven't put in the chat, declare this. If you've been inactive on this chat, declare it. Don't miss this opportunity. Declare it. What are you breaking through? Genuinely. Like, this is what you want. This is here. This is at stake for you. Having grace with myself. Manifesting my visions. The illusion of perfection. Awesome. All right, go ahead and close your eyes and, free flow spoken word a little bit here. And I just want you to put your feet back onto the ground. I want you to arch your feet up, feel your feet flex, rock onto your toes, feel your heels lift. Allow your shoulders to roll down your back. And just taking a breath. Can I release the expectation of all the things that I am and all the things that I am not? Can I allow in my grace, and can I allow in perception to allow room for all of my mistakes? That there is deep wiring rooted from the depths of my soul, that I thrive and strive for all that I can control. That my mind sometimes can feel like a prison within, where I contrive and I decide all that I need to know, all of how I can win. That there's more to me, that there's more to see, that the power in me is the divine seed, that I feel this power in this moment fuel my grace, that I feel this power allow myself to replicate, that I know who I am because I am God living in this divine plan, that I weave my web and know that I am clear, that I see all that I am here, that there's more to bear, that life and love gives us all that we have, that there is choice and truth for all that we know, and all that is sad, that I can acknowledge, that there is more in me as there's more in my seed, more for me to believe, more for me to achieve, more for me to need, more for me to surrender, more for me again to believe. That as I break through, I get to see myself new, aligned in that mirror, that I am in perfect time here and here, that I can see everything crystal clear, that there's more for me here. Life, love, belief, and achieve. See all that there is, see all that there is mystery. Grace that I've been given, and grace in my choice, that I walk here new, that I walk here free with my voice, power in my voice, and power to understand that there's power in my plan, Power to understand that there's free from my voice. Power to understand that I make the choice. In this moment, I am the choice. I have the voice. I use my voice. It is my voice. I am voice. And just allowing your voice to speak or say anything that there is for you to know. Taking a breath and allowing the answers and your wisdom to come through your body and to come through your breath. Trusting what there was to get and what there wasn't. And slowly coming back and opening your eyes. Coming back to this moment. Thank you. And Chelsea, I'll let you see if there's anything you want to say as we close out our time together.
Beautiful. Are you up for taking a question?
Yeah, of course.
Does anyone have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make as we get to the end of our last session before the closing ceremony? Yes, Eddie.
I'm curious on any any practical tips that you might have for, and I feel like a lot of people are with this in one way or another, but like that breaking through that upper limit to get to that new normal. I feel like a lot of, at least the pattern I've gone into, is feeling like I need to take on more or almost like overwhelm myself. And I've noticed that that allows me to like stretch into a lot more, but sometimes I feel like I need to keep that like hustling up in order to keep it going. And I'm curious, like, what your experience has been around like having that be easy and letting that happen with just in such a natural of courseness.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing I did is I started getting radically in relationship with the tens in my life. And an exercise that you can do is go ahead and list out everything that you do in your life, in your day, from waking up to answering email, to how you work out, to how you eat, and actually going ahead and giving it a number on the 1 to 10 scale. And like full brain dump, you can do this as an exercise. Go ahead and list out everything that you do and then give it a number and assign it. And I did that exercise and found out that most of my time was spent living in 6s and 7s. So most of the things that I said yes to was in 6s and 7s. And so I found that that kept me in a limit. And the moment that I stopped saying yes to 6s and 7s and said no and waited for truly 9s and 10s and got really honest with myself about 9s and 10s, even though it was like terrifying to be like, it's an 8. God, that money's going to be really good. God, that client's going to feel really good. God, I don't want to miss out on that trip. Oh my God, I really want to go out with my friends, whatever it might be. That it was the moment I started training the universe and started training my environment to stop sending me 6s and 7s. I was actually able to start receiving 8s and 9s. So if you want to go through to the next limit that you want to go into your life, you have to stop entertaining the very thing that keeps you in your life. It's like when you say that you want to go ahead and eat healthy, and then all of a sudden you're with your friends all the time who are like going out to eat all the time and eating fast food. Like the environment doesn't call for it. You have to train your environment. So as a practical piece, get radically in relationship with your yes. And if you can't be clear on your yes, then it's a no or a not right now. And even you can play this for the next week. Just notice the relationship to your yes. And if it's not a yes, then it's a no. And if it's a clear read and you're having to ask yourself, is this a yes? It's not a yes. It's not that full fuck yeah. It's not that full 10 out of 10 yes. And so if you give yourself the opportunity over the next week to just play with for the next week, if it's not, create your number. Maybe you start with a 5 or higher. Maybe there's just a lot of 3s and 4s. And you're like, actually, if it's not a 6 or higher, maybe your life's been at a 6 and you're like, actually really want to break through to an 8. Maybe you're at an 8 and you're like, I'm really curious what an 11 feels like. If it's on an 8 or higher, I'm just going to say no or not right now. And you keep doing that. You keep syncing up that action. You keep flexing that muscle. You will keep actually attracting. You'll stop attracting. There'll be a pause and then you'll start attracting a whole new domain because you chose it and you trained the universe to respond to that what you want. So I would start there and play with that over the next week and see what happens. And I promise you, I bet a lot of you are powerful manifestors. It'll shift like that if you really bring your conscious intentionality to it consistently.
Beautiful. Amazing. Okay. Does anyone else have a question? Oh, I think we're at the top of the hour. Okay. Does anyone have a burning question? Any comment?
I have a question. Jules, where can we hear your music?
Yeah. So Jules Schroeder, you can find me on Spotify. I just released my third album called Vancouver that came out in August. Series of 10 songs that I was given a grant to record by the Canadian government. We had over 22 artists on the project, members from Nickelback, from Mother, from Dallas Smith, Elephant Revival, a bunch of really incredible bands, whole gospel choir. So if you are into soul blues and folk type of music, go check that out. Jules Schroeder on Spotify. It's also on Apple Music. And then I run a podcast as well called Unconventional Life that I started through all that crazy near-death experience stuff. We're about 300 episodes in, telling stories of people following non-traditional paths. So you can find that on iTunes and wherever you find your podcast. So.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay. Can we all take ourselves off of mute, rub our hands together, and give a really big ashe to Jules? Ashe. Thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Okay. All right. So let's all take a little breath together, syncing our energies, breathing in and exhaling. Amazing.